It's September 25th picks edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code MLB SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is Tuesday, September the 24th. We are here to look around the major action for Wednesday, September 25 in MLB. Joining me from somewhere in New York is Mr. Dylan Rockford. D-Rock, I haven't spoke to you since you did your little double header last week. You went double bubble on the Mets and the Jets back to back. Tell me about that. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Good to be with you, Mal. And yeah, I think I'm the good luck charm because Jets had a historic night. It was great atmosphere, home opener. They beat the Patriots. It's always good to beat the Patriots. And the next day, Mets, they go and kill. I forgot who they played. It doesn't even matter. They won like 9-0. Acuna's brother, he's the real deal, man. He really is. I mean, they got to find a way. Obviously, they're not going to do anything with Lindor, but I think Jeff McPeeple seen his last few days here in New York. They got to put him over at second. The kid is a stud. He's batting over 300 so far. But yeah, the two back-to-back games were really good. Mets had a good series over the weekend and a huge series. It always seems like it comes down to us and the Braves final week of the season.
Yeah, it's all about to kick off. The Tuesday game starts in about an hour and a half, a couple of hours from now. And we'll get the game two in a little while, but it is very, very exciting. We've got some bonus early baseball earlier on today. There was a bit of a weather situation in Detroit, so they pulled forward the first pitch for the Rays and the Tigers. And what an epic duel it was. Firstly, myself and Munaf absolutely handicapped it to death. The total was 6.5, but we were brave enough to take the under. I wanted Tarek Skubal to not get lots of strikeouts, but unfortunately, I think he got 6, maybe.
Seven he landed on.
7, was it?
Yeah.
Slightly disappointing. I mean, he was great. Both teams had 3 hits because Ryan Pepiot was absolutely dealing for the Tampa Bay Rays. But Tampa Bay just can't hit the ball at all. It was bleak. It was grey. That Detroit bullpen came in. Bo Brisky absolutely smelling himself at the moment. We'll get on to game 2 in a little while for that Rays and Tigers. But it was playoff atmosphere as well. The Tigers fans came out. I know it was early. And like I say, there was a start time change. Yeah, but the Tigers are buzzing as well. So yeah, it was really exciting. I enjoyed watching it. Tomorrow, we're going to start with, I'll tell you what, actually. Firstly, let's say hello to all the people who've joined us. Rude not to. Gio, first in, welcome. How are you doing? Tyson. Jason as well. Jason.
What a nice message he said.
Go on, mate. Sorry,
yeah,
Dylan?
No, Jason, what a nice message he said. He's been a loyal listener for the past 2 years. He just wanted to show his appreciation and for an excellent season. So I appreciate you, Jason.
Yeah, it is nice because we've said this a few times. The entire show only exists with the listeners.
Yeah.
And it's a million times better when the listeners are in the comments section live on YouTube. And it's much more fun and we get some interaction. Me and Dylan sitting talking to each other without any interaction is no fun at all. So, yeah, that's really kind, Jason. Very much appreciate. I'm sure Munaf, Lonte and Scott feel exactly the same way. So if you are lurking about in the comments, firstly, if you've got any picks, throw them out there because we're always welcome of the help. Or if you just want to stick your head above the parapet and say hello, by all means do that. There's a new podcast on the network here, hosted by Sean Green, along with his friends Doug Stanhope and Brandon Walsh. It's called Get to the Points. And you'll recognise Doug and Brendan from the Joe Rogan podcast, the Howard Stern Show, Comedy Central. They just talk a load of shit, really, and it's really good value. So go and give that a listen. And tomorrow's games start with I'm on the wrong page now. I'm looking at today's scores because I was looking at that Tigers game. 2:10 Eastern between the Seattle Mariners and the Houston Astros. Big old series, as myself and Munaf discussed last night. Seattle are TBD here. I believe it's going to be George Kirby, where Houston will send left-handed pitcher Yusei Kikuchi to the mound. Unfortunately, we've got no lines. There's two games of the 8 we're going to cover tonight without lines. This is one of them. But George Kirby for Seattle, he's been a little bit up and down lately, not quite as reliable. He had an August ERA of 6.84, and has got 2 5 earned run efforts in his last 5 games. Not as good on the road as well. A whole run worse on the road than he is in Seattle. Has pitched well against Houston in his this season. Kikuchi's been fairly steady. He's going good length, 6 or 7 innings. You can trust him. The Diamondbacks got to him for 4 earned runs last time, which wasn't a disaster, but everything else has been okay. And since he joined Houston, he's started 9 games now for the Astros and has an ERA of an even 3.00. Again, pitched well against the Mariners. This spot, I prefer Kikuchi's home form to Kirby on the road. I prefer Houston's offense and the bullpen on recent form. Houston have got the edge definitely on the bullpen. So, no lines for this, but my lean would definitely be the Astros, Dylan.
Yeah, Mariners, like you said, fighting for their life to stay alive in that wild card race in the AL. And I agree. I don't know if this is a good spot for them. I do like George Kirby, but on the road, he has struggled. He's given up 2+ runs in 6 straight road games. Meanwhile, like you said Kikuchi, he's looked like a brand new pitcher since coming over from Toronto. The Astros have won all 9 starts he's made for the club. He's only allowed more than 2 runs at home 1 time in 5 home starts. So he's been really dialed in at home. I love his recent home form. He's been great. Mariners did win the first game of this series, but they do struggle against left-handed pitching, which worries me as well. So I agree. I think the Astros are the right side. I made them a -150 favorite. So anything under a -150, I do think the Astros are the right side.
Okay. Nathan joined us in the chat. Nathan and Callum. Callum, listener of the Premier League show. So welcome along, boys. Second game tomorrow is we need to get Callum betting on MLB. We need him to be another UK guinea pig over here. The second game is the Rays and the Tigers. The game that we have seen completed early today. Zach Littell will get the start for the Tampa Bay Rays here, and it will be Keda Montero for the Detroit Tigers. Tigers are slight favourites, -120. Tampa Bay Rays +102. Total is low, again, as you'd expect, especially on the back of what we witnessed today. Total 7.5. Dylan, exciting game, this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go right back to the total. You guys hit it yesterday with the total going under. I'm going to go under again here. My total came out to 7.2. I think we could see another low-scoring game. Montero, he has been up and down, but at home, I think he's been solid. He's only given up more than 3 runs at home just 1 time in his last 5 home starts. And 4 of those 5 games did go under this number as well. And on the other side, Zach Littell, he's looked great in the month of September. He hasn't allowed a single run in his last 18 innings. But on the road, he hasn't allowed one run in his last 3 road starts. We got 2 top 5 bullpens in the American League. Like you mentioned at the top of the show, Rays just struggling to score offensive runs. I just don't know where the offense is going to come from Tampa Bay. So I love the under here. I see 7.5. I agree with the total. I'm going to take the under.
Yeah, I couldn't put you off the under. I mean, if the weather's somewhat similar, getting a little bit chilly in Detroit. I just want to back Detroit here. I mean, I watched the game today. Pepiot was outstanding. Scuba was outstanding. The Tampa Bay Rays, we mentioned yesterday, they came off that 4-game sweep of the Blue Jays. they won 4 games by scoring 10 runs in total. So it's not like they sort of smashed it up. And then even today, they didn't look like scoring anyone. They got a solo homer in the last inning, was Brandon Lau. But they couldn't lay a bat on Skubal. Now, Montero isn't Skubal, I get that. But he's been absolutely fine as well. Detroit have got momentum. The home crowds are into it. They're doing a great job in managing their arms, the bullpen arms.
Yeah.
I feel like the Detroit bullpen's been one of the features of this show for the last 2 or 3 weeks. They called up Job Jackson today. It's such a good move. Like, your rookie, absolute talking horse. And they had to send him down to AAA to work on some stuff. He'll come back in the bullpen, but it's just they're going to throw everything at this move by Detroit. Mentioned Bo Brisky when we were talking about today's game, absolutely spelling himself again. So I just want to, I wanted to mention Wenzel Perez as well, a really good name, and the kid playing shortstop who came across in the Flaherty trade, Sweeney. Just difficult at batter. Wenzel Perez was the difference maker today. I just don't want to get in front of Detroit. I think minus 120 is a really nice price. So yeah, Detroit at minus 120. There's some talk in the chat here about the New York parlay. Titans talking about the Mets and the Liberty.
It hit on Sunday, I think.
It did hit on Sunday, yeah. I think Scott and Lonte were discussing it in our Slack channel. So Tyson missed that one on Sunday night, unfortunately.
I'm such a fraud at being in New York and not hitting that. I'm such a fraud for that.
Underdog Fantasy Pick'em's always adding to the awesome menu. They've got first touchdown projections now. Tons of ways to win with NFL, college football, MLB, MMA, and more. Lobby is jam-packed with profit boosts and no sweat entries. You can use specials and boosts on all flex entries. Use our code MLB SGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com promo code MLB SGPN. Next game is the second of these ones that is off the board. So a pitching change, which is probably why. It's 6:45 between the Kansas City Royals and the Washington Nationals. And I originally had Alec Marsh down to pitch for the Royals. Now I'm now seeing Michael Lorenzen's name down there. And that is confirmed by Kansas City. DJ Hurts will get the start for the Nationals. Hadn't seen any lines, as I say, on this one. So I'm just dragging up Michael Lorenzen's numbers now. I mean, a big part of this handicap for me is how Kansas City go tonight, because you want to see them win a game. I think we lost 7 in a row, 16 of 23, I think it is.
Yeah.
The Royals have lost now. And you want to see a good outing from Reagans. You want to see not much bullpen usage, so they can get a win and be primed to follow Michael Lorenzen. Because Michael Lorenzen was in really, really good form. Had a little injury. Last pitched on August the 27th. Went out after 1 2/3 hurt in that game. But is back after, 3.5 weeks out now? Guessing he should be ready to go. Because before that, he was great. His last full start was 7 scoreless against the Angels. 1 earned run against the Reds. So Michael Lorenzen's been pretty trustworthy. DJ Hurts for the Nationals is slightly inconsistent. 2 good and 2 poor in his last 4 starts. He's been good at home, and he's been really good since the All-Star break. Both offenses have been really poor in the last 14 days. The Royals hitting 217, the Nationals hitting 220. Everything in the batting metrics of these two teams is bright red, which is a bad thing. The Nationals bullpen has been a bit of a mess, though. So I think it's going to be low scoring, but I'd like to keep it early. First 5 under, Dylan, will be my play.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do with this Royal team, Matt. Like you said, losers of 7 in a row. They're literally trying their hardest not to make the playoffs at this point. I just don't know if we could back them. I agree. I think maybe you got to see them tonight and see how Cole Reagans pitches, but They're not a good road team in general. They can't hit to save their life right now. Back-to-back games with 0 runs scored, 4 total runs scored in the past 5 games. My numbers only made them a -115 favorite, and I think that's generous the way they've been playing. So I agree. I do think it is Michael Lorenzen. He's coming back from the 15-day day IL. He struck out 4. He allowed 1 run on 2 hits and 2 walks over 3 1/3 innings in his last rehab start in Omaha on Friday. But even though he's been okay, I just don't trust their offense to score runs. Like I said, I just don't know where the runs is going to come from. And on the other side, DJ Hearns at home, I think he's been okay. I'm sorry, Mal, but I just can't back the Royals here on the road. So I do think they're going to miss the playoffs, and I would take the Nationals here, honestly.
Okay, guessing there'll be a puppy then. A little home puppy, Dylan, very on brand for you, that one. Next game is a big one. It is the 7:05 Eastern first pitch between the Baltimore Orioles and the New York Yankees. We have Zach Eflin confirmed for Baltimore, and for the Pinstripes, it will be left-handed pitcher Nasty Nestor Cortez. Yankees -138, Baltimore +118. Total, Dylan, is 8.
Yeah, Orioles are another team where I just have a hard time backing them now. Too inconsistent, especially in the second half of the season. My AL East ticket is dead. Meanwhile, the Yankees, they're playing the way you want them to play going into October. Winners of 8 of their last 10. They've been great at home. Not the biggest fan of Nasty Nestor, but he has been much better these last 2 months. He has a great win against this Oriole team, and like I said, Orioles are just struggling offensively. Their bullpen has taken a big hit. And honestly, managerial wise, I don't really understand some of the moves they've made, especially pitching wise. So yeah, I can't back them right now. I don't think they could keep up with this Yankees offense. I made the Yankees a -145 favorite. So anything under that, I see -136, -138s out there. I'll take the Yankees here at home.
Yeah, you said you're having a hard time betting Baltimore. I'm having a really easy time not betting them. It's
Yeah, exactly.
straightforward. For this game, actively try to find a reason to try and back Baltimore because I just don't want to.
Mm.
So if you wanted to make a case for the Orioles, the case is that Zach Eflin gives you a little bit of hope here because he's been really good lately. And he's got a really good record against the Yankees in his career. He's not as good on the road. Cortez is dealing lately. 1 earned run in his last 3 starts. 3 really low-scoring games, actually. The Yankees won those 2-1, 2-1, and 2-0. 5-1 career against the Orioles with a 2.2 ERA. He's better at home. Baltimore aren't hitting. Yankees at -138. I didn't need many excuses to not pick them, and I couldn't find any. So, yeah, give me the Yankees at -138. Okay, here we go, D-Rock. 7:20 Eastern. First pitch between the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves. 2 left-handed pitchers going are David Peterson for the Mets and Chris Sale going for the Braves. -178 for Atlanta. It is +150 on the New York Mets. And the total here is 7.5. I'll give you my reading of this one, Dylan, and then you can tell me if you've got any faith in your Mets. I heard someone saying today that David Peterson's been really lucky, and I'm not sure. I think that's a little bit unfair. I think he's been really good. Has had a couple of dodgy starts lately. I can forgive him his last one. It was in a back-to-back spot against the Phillies, facing the Phillies twice in a row. Is slightly daunting. Not a good career record against the Braves. 3-5 with a 5.33 ERA. But he's been excellent on the road this year, 288. The Mets get Lindor back, I think, which is a little plus point as well. Chris Sale will be going to wrap up his Triple Crown season here. Absolutely bulletproof. The Braves are winning his starts. But, and I reckon I've picked this similar pick about 4 times all season. Well, you never see it on this. The Mets are 8-3 on the run line in the last 14 days, both as a dog and as a favourite. So we've got a low total. It's going to be close. even if the Braves win, it might just be by 1 run. I'm going to take the Mets plus 1.5, which is a price of minus 137, Dylan.
Yeah, we usually don't take the plus 1.5s here on
No,
this
you're right.
show.
Very
So
rarely seen, mate.
very rare. So I like the little curveball you're throwing at us. But I agree. I think it is going to be a close game. Low total, but I'm gonna lean over 7.5. I did make the Braves a minus 175 favorite. So we need about 20 more cents to take a shot here on the Mets. But my total came out to 8.1. Since going on their little run, the Mets have been an over team, 7-3 to the over their last 10 games. They're averaging around 4.87 runs per game on the road. Braves averaging 3.92 runs per game at home. But they are picking up their offense recently, the Braves. Total of 36 runs in the past 5 games. So they're scoring a bunch of runs. The over for both teams last 5 games, 4-1 towards the over. So I do think this is a good spot for the Mets offense, especially against a lefty on a road. They hit better against lefties. I like their team total over. I would say I would say that's a little unfair too with David Peterson. I think he has been good, much better. The one thing that concerned me when diving into this game was he doesn't pitch well against Atlanta. So that's why I like the over as well. Recent form of the Braves offense, Mets offense has been good. So I think we could see a higher scoring game, but hopefully the Mets win. Lindor isn't in the lineup today. Hopefully he is
Okay.
back tomorrow.
Completely nothing to do with baseball, Dylan. Do you moisturize much?
Yeah, after the shower, yeah. I was talking to this girl one time and I was like, "Wow, you look so young." And she was like, "Do you know what my secret is?" And I said, "What is it?" And she said, "I drink a lot of water and I moisturize 3 times a day." Ever since
Oh,
then, I've
three
been
times a
getting
day.
I've been getting bottles of lotion, just bottles of lotion. I'm trying to look younger. I'm trying to look younger.
Dylan was a far more comprehensive answer than I was
Yeah.
expecting. I enjoyed that. Very good.
Yeah.
Um, we could have go to. I'll throw myself off there.
Yeah.
Uh, 7:40 Eastern first pitch is the Miami Marlins at the Minnesota Twins. Edward Cabrera for Miami. For the Minnesota Twins, it's one of the biggest names in baseball. It's Simeon Woods Richardson. The Twins are minus 205, Marlins plus 172. Total is 8.5, Dylan.
Yeah, 2 bad teams right now. I want no business back in the Twins right now, or the Fish for that matter. I actually would lean first 5 over between Edward Cabrera and Woods Richardson, who both pitchers have given up their fair runs in the month of September. Just look at Cabrera's last start versus the Dodgers. He couldn't even get out of the second inning, 7 runs in 2 innings of work. And Woods Richardson, he hasn't looked good in my opinion in the month of September. And say what you want about this Marlins offense, but they have averaged 4+ runs in 4 of the last 5 games. So even in losses, they are competitive. They are hitting the ball, and they've been one of the best over teams this season we've seen. So I think both starters will give up their fair share of runs. Instead of taking the full game, I'm going to take first 5 over between these two. I think both offenses could see some success here.
A lot of the time when you do back-to-back shows, if we host back-to-back shows, sort of the first 2 games of a series, it's difficult to get away from your initial pick if the starting pitchers don't sort of sway you. And you're right, there's no way I want to back the Twins at minus 205.
No.
They're just not winning at all. Simeon Woods Richardson doesn't make me want to pick them. He's starting to have his innings managed a little bit now. Rookie, he's pitched 132 innings. Starting to go 3 or 4 nearly every start now. So you don't get much out of Woods Richardson. Minnesota have lost his last 3. Now, Edward Cabrera last week, I think myself, I don't know if it was me and Munaf, or me and you were sitting here while I faded Edward Cabrera earned runs against the Dodgers and sat here live as it was one of the easiest cashes of the season. He blew up for 7 earned runs in a 20-4 defeat. 22-4 defeat. But I like him, and I think he can bounce back. He'd been really good before that. And I just think I took Miami for the Tuesday games. They were plus 198 with Ryan Weathers, and I think I'm going to take them again with Cabrera here at plus 172. They can definitely win one of these 2 games, if not both of them. Yeah, give me Miami. They're competitive. in Minnesota are absolutely wobbling. I'll tell you next about BetUS. BetUS are the best in the business, been around for more than 30 years. You can deposit using crypto now, get lightning fast payouts, support SGPN, and get yourself access to another great book by signing up at BetUS. And this sign-up offer is an absolute beauty. Yeah, use our link to sign up and get 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betus. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betus. Promo code SGPN. BetUS is America's favourite sportsbook. And don't forget Rhythm, SGPN's proud partner, AI-powered sports betting platform. You're getting custom predictive betting models in seconds. Another winning week on NFL for Rhythm. Build your own model, copy one of the top performing models. It was throwing out all the moneyline dogs that won last week. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And we are already at the penultimate game of tonight's show, which is a 9:40 Eastern first pitch between the San Francisco Giants and the Arizona Diamondbacks. It is Mason Black for the Giants. Zach Gallen will go for Arizona. Arizona are understandably short here, -220. The Giants +184. Total is at 8.5. Disappointing Monday. There was only 4 games on Monday. Arizona played in one of them, and a disappointing loss because they haven't got too much room to manoeuvre the Diamondbacks. Tyson saying they killed his parlay yesterday. Ditto, Tyson. It was only a 2-teamer, Philly and Arizona at +130. And I watched a bit of Philly and I went to bed feeling quite confident. And I woke up to a loser. So yeah, that was disappointing because, like I said, they haven't got much wiggle room. This does, on the face of it, look like a good bounce back spot. Mason Black pitched well in his last couple of games against the Royals and twice against the Padres. What caught my eye here was his 151 whip. That's not particularly sustainable, especially against this Arizona offense. Gallen hasn't been at his best lately. 7 earned runs in back-to-back starts against the Brewers. Both teams, for the record, I don't know if Gio's still lurking about, but strong for the Yerfie. Arizona are 9-3 to the Yerfie in the last 12, if you want a real D-gen bet. There was lots of conflicting trends here. The Diamondbacks' pen has been a bit susceptible, so I'm going to add the Diamondbacks' pen into an over because I think the offense can, the Diamondbacks' offense can squeeze Black here for a few. But they might just give up a couple near the end of the game as well. So I'm going to take it over 8.5, Dylan.
Yeah, this game was tough to handicap, in my opinion. But I do lean here with the dog and the Giants. I just can't back the Snakes at this price. My numbers only made them a -180 favorite here at home. You know, they lost 2 in a row right now. And even though the Giants are eliminated, they've won 4 in a row and they could still play spoilers to the Snakes. To be honest, Mal, I don't think Mason Black has been that bad in the month of September. He doesn't walk batters. He keeps the ball low in the ballpark as well. So I think he could have success against his Diamondbacks team. And on the other side, Zach Gallen, he's given up 3+ runs in 3 of his last 5 starts. Not really Gallen-esque lately. And when Gallen is out, you mentioned it, that bullpen is susceptible. Do we really trust them? I mean, I don't. They blew another game the other night versus the Brewers. And if they don't get out to an early lead in this game, I think it could get out of hand quick for them, like kind of yesterday. So for pure value play, +184 I see out there, I'm going to take the Giants as a big dog here.
Okay, didn't expect that. Yeah, nice play, Dylan. Finally, or not finally, because we've had a special request to do the White Sox game from Dayquan. I don't know if that's a serious request, but we'll have a look at it, you know. We like to keep our listeners involved. The main game we're going to look at is a 10:10 Cowboy time Eastern first pitch between the San Diego Padres and the LA Dodgers. It is Dylan Cease for the Padres. It is Jack Flaherty for the Dodgers. Good looking matchup. Dodgers -144, Padres +122. Total Dylan's 7.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Dodgers here, straight up minus 144. My numbers made them a minus 155 favorite here at home. I do think Jack Flaherty has been great since coming over from Detroit. I wonder now if they still would have traded him, depending on how they've been playing here. Imagine if he was still with them. But I think he's been great since coming over. Dodgers 3-1 straight up in his 4 home starts in Dodger Stadium. He's only allowed 8 runs in 24 innings in Dodger Stadium. He hasn't faced the Padres this season, but he usually is able to give this Dodger good length. He doesn't give up the long ball. And the Dodgers still need this game. They still have something to play for. The Padres could come and take the division in this series. So I think they need it a little more. I think Flaherty has been better than Dylan Cease as well. I trust the bats and this offense more of the Dodgers as well. I think they're the right side. I think they're going to get up for this game at home with one of their aces on the mound. Anything under a minus 155, I do think the Dodgers are the right side.
I've got the other side, Dylan. We've got a crossfire here. I faded Dylan Cease last week, so I might be talking through my pocket a little bit here. I was very wrong to fade Dylan Cease last week. Back-to-back scoreless efforts now for Cease against the Giants and the Astros. He's been great against the Dodgers in his career, 1.72 ERA. And I just think Flaherty's not been as sharp lately. He's given up 3 and 4 in his last 2 games. He's got a 4.26 career ERA against the Padres. And there's quite a few sort of little red flags in under the bonnet or under the hood, as you people would say. His xFIP is Sierra. His ground ball rate as well is. I expect some San Diego Padres home runs tomorrow. Fly ball rate for Jack Flaherty is way up there. So yeah, I'm going to take the Padres. Still fighting hard. San Diego at plus 122. Tyson's gone for the Padres sweep. So, Daquan, the Chicago White Sox are going to break the record for the most losses ever tonight. You're absolutely right. But tomorrow, they throw Davis Martin. Davis Martin has, I've just had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 starts. Has lost all 10, and 9 of them have been on the run line. So if you need us to handicap that in any more detail, I don't know what else to tell you. So let's take an age on run line in that. Yeah, I don't know if the White Sox will go out celebrating as well after they break the record tonight. So there might be a few hangovers. D-Rock, lock, underdog. What have you got?
Yeah, so I'll start with my lock, and it's going to be the Dodgers. I do think Flaherty's actually been a little better, honestly, than Dylan Cease here. I trust the offense a little more at home. I think they are going to win the division. Padres, they are sneaking up on them, but Dodgers. So I am going to take them here at home. For the dog, I was going to take the Giants. I think that's a nice big dog, plus 184. But who am I? I got to take the Mets here. Plus 1, what is it? 150, 135, 140, something around that. But yeah, it doesn't matter. I think it's going to be a bigger price come in the morning. I'm going to take the Mets here. Like you said, David Peterson, I don't think it's been an outlier how good he's been over this season on the road. I think they get to him. I think the offense is playing well. Sucks that Lindor's not in here, but I do think we'll be able to get to Chris Sale. I think in a game where I expect a lot of runs, I'm going to take the hotter team, which is the Mets. So give me the dog of the day. Let's go with the Amazons.
Oh, my player. That's brave, Dylan. And you've gone for the big mush as well.
Yeah, I know.
I would be leaving that well alone if they were my team this week. I'm going to lock up the Tigers. Why would you not back the Tigers? They're the best team in baseball, aren't they? It was loads of fun watching them tonight. It wasn't the sort of the most exciting game, but it drew you in. It had that playoff feel. It was intense, and everything they're doing is heading in the right direction. I can see a very, very similar game to what happened tonight, and Detroit can squeeze out the Tampa Bay Rays. Minus 120 for Detroit at the moment against anybody is a good price. For my dog, I'm going to go back to Miami. We inducted Miami Monday as the last 2 weeks here on the show, but we're going to go with Miami Tuesday as well. You can't back the Twins at minus 205, and I like Edward Cabrera. Maybe Miami first 5 if you want to be a bit a bit more prudent. But no, give me the Marlins at plus 172. They're definitely winning Monday or Tuesday, which leaves us in a little bit of profit. And finally, D-Rock, do you have a dingers?
Yes, sir. Let's go back to that San Francisco game and taking on the Diamondbacks. Let's take a New York or an ex-New York Met, Michael Conforto. Let's take him to hit a home run. He's been swinging the bat well recently. He had a home run last night. He actually has 3 home runs the past 5 games. He already has a home run in his career versus Zach Gallen. In a game, like I explained during the handicap, where I expect a lot of runs, I think this is a good spot for Conforto to get number 20. 16 of his 19 home runs have come on the road. Seeing the ball well. I love this spot for Michael Conforto.
Earlier on, I kind of talked myself into a corner, saying I was going to give out a San Diego Padre. I will. Firstly, though, I like to go off script a little bit. I'm going to give you. I bet you've even never heard of this bloke. Eric Wagaman. Eric Wagaman for the LA Angels tomorrow. He might even hit one tonight against Jack Kikanovich. But Eric Wagaman tomorrow for the Angels. And let's get these San Diego Padres. I like Jackson Merrill at the numbers. Jackson Merrill stands out. I think Party, like I say, those fly ball rates are up. So give me Jackson Merrill as my main play tomorrow. And D-Rock, anything else you want to tell the people before we go?
No, just a big weekend. We got Alabama, Georgia this weekend as well. But we got to go to City Ground after a big win. We are undefeated right now in the Premier League for playing Fulham. I mean, we're just gonna trash them this week. So looking good right now. Nottingham been repping the jersey. So got to make my way to City Ground soon. Real quick, I wanted to ask you, since we have some time here off the end of the show, how far are you from Wembley Stadium?
Well, it's pretty much the other end of the country, but as you well know, the country is very, very small. So it's probably about a 5-hour drive. Newcastle to London's about 5 hours, which in this country is a long drive, but I know that's like 2 towns over for you people. It's next door, isn't it?
That's not bad. It took me 2 hours to get into the city today because the president is in here. So that's needless to say. But anyway, no, I was asking because the boxing event, Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois was there. 98,000 people at Wembley. It was one of the biggest event. Holy shit. I mean, outside of obviously soccer or football, boxing has to be the second biggest sport in the UK, right?
I don't like boxing at all. Like
really?
None of the combat. I don't know what it is. It just never ever appealed to me. I did watch the Joshua fight on Saturday night. My daughter wanted to watch it, so I put it on the dodgy stick and we watched the knockout. But I mean, it's well supported, but I wouldn't know. I mean, obviously we have lots of rugby and cricket and everything else going on at the same time as well. So, yeah, it was good though. And like I said, 96,000 is a big old crowd down at Wembley Stadium.
The reason I asked that is because I don't think any American fighter could fill up 96,000 stadium. Like anyone, even like the biggest UFC guys, they barely fill up a 25,000 stadium. So 96,000 is insane. So just wanted to throw that out there for you.
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of local interest. They're both sort of Southerners, and there was a good undercard as well, from what I understand about it. And well promoted by the Saudis. The Saudis throwing
Riyadh season, His Excellency.
Yeah. Well, he owns Newcastle United, His Excellency. I'm going to watch Newcastle v Manchester City at the weekend. So it's very much the oil money derby. Newcastle play Man City on Saturday. I'm taking Bob to that. Thanks, Dylan. Thanks everyone in the chat. The chat was buzzing. It's nice to see a few people make it in. Daquan and Tyson, who very often work, but make it in when they can. Chris, Lemure, Chris, bonjour, and also au revoir. So yeah, thanks to everyone who made it into the chat. We do appreciate it. Like I say, it makes the show 1,000 times better. Good luck with all your picks tonight. Somebody is here tomorrow. Don't know who it is. It's not me. But until then, we will see you all down the road. Cheers.